na naman and you're watching Kababayan Today. Ako po si G. Tonji. Simulan natin ang ating programa with our news from Asian Journal.
Asian Journal, the leading Filipino-American newspaper since 1991.
And coming from the heels of her very successful concert, kasama natin si Annie Nepomuceno. Annie, congratulations on the Film Collective that happened at the Ford. Napaka-successful daw.
Yes, thank you so much everyone who came. At saka, I'm looking forward for your daughter to be there this weekend, and the Ford is welcoming all these Filipino-American talents.
Yes, magkita-kita tayo sa Big World Fun. At ngayon naman, simulan na natin ang ating news with Asian Journal. Here's Annie Nepomuceno.
Here's our first story. Duterte delivers first State of the Nation address. President Duterte delivered his first Sona on Monday, July 25, at the plenary hall of the House of Representatives in Manila, in which he elaborated on his plans as president. In his nearly 3-hour address to television viewers and an audience of 3,000 people, he further emphasized his famous anti-drug and anti-corruption campaign. He laid out plans for rehabilitation programs for the addicts and the establishment of a government body responsible for combating drug trafficking. Once again, he promised investigations into police officers and public officials who are possibly linked to the drug trade. Notably, he called for a unilateral ceasefire between government forces and communist insurgent groups, a fight that has been raging for decades. In regards to his vision of a federalist government, he said that the Moro people should expect more independence and autonomy if his plans for federalism are realized. He added that his administration will work to sustain relations with Indonesia and Malaysia. He elaborated on proposed anti-terror and cybercrime programs to prevent kidnappings and attacks from Abu Sayyaf and other jihadist groups in the region.
All right, and now moving on to our second story from Asian Journal.
Southeast Asian nations failed to compromise on South China Sea ruling on July 24. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or the ASEAN, did not come to a consensus on the South China dispute. Each nation in the 10-nation coalition was to submit a statement citing the July 12 tribunal ruling in favor of the Philippines and the importance of respecting international law. However, Cambodia, China's closest ally, failed to do so, citing issues with the language of the statement. The news comes after the U.S. Secretary of Defense John Kerry urged the nations to come to a consensus on the ruling. This was ASEAN's second ever deadlock decision after one that occurred in 2012, which also had to do with opposition to the language regarding the South China Sea. This was the group's first meeting since the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague ruled in favor of the Philippines, denying China's claim that it holds sole possession over the South China Sea.
All right, and now let's move on to our next story and last story from Asian Journal.
Clinton's VP pick, an advocate for Filipinos. Hillary Clinton's running mate, Tim Kaine, Jr. Senator from Virginia, was generally unknown to the public, but he has established himself as an ally to the Asian American community, especially Filipinos. Kaine was on the forefront of the implementation of the Filipino World War II Veterans Parole Program, which allows family members of Filipino World War II veterans to come to the U.S. He also pushed to award Filipino World War II veterans with a Congressional Gold Medal to honor their massive efforts in the war. Kaine has also made it a priority to connect with the Asian American community in his state by attending events hosted by Asian American leaders in Virginia to understand their concerns. Moreover, his stances on issues coincide with the needs of the Asian American and Pacific Islander community, like immigration.
Thank you so much, Annie, for our news today. And please, can you share with everybody what's happening this Saturday?
Oh yes, aside from Big World Fun, we also have in the evening, it's Edsel and the Time Machine at the Aratani Theater. Edsel Sotianco has been performing in the Filipino community since he was 17, and now he's a teenager and he sings in a rap group, but he's still doing some Filipino music and performing with other Phil-Am talents at the Aratani on Saturday.
All right, that's at 7 p.m. at the Aratani. Thank you so much, Annie.
Thank you, G.
All right, at magbabalik kami, we have a special program for you. Kasama natin ang Kayamanan ng Lahi and the Road to the Ford.